Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain is all about tensions rising. Sound familiar? My country is currently going through a pandemic of rage and anger. People are getting beat up and killed on the streets whilst the buildings burn. Things in America seem just as bad, with Joe Biden stumbling his way out of office and your former president being shot at. The war in Ukraine has been going on for 2.5 years with no sign of slowing down. Palestine and Israel. Everywhere you look, tension just keeps on rising, and we as a species have never been more divided. And why? Why can't we just get along? Why is war our only option? There is no real answer to that question, no definitive one that solves it. But Metal Gear Solid 5 makes an attempt to. The Phantom Pain is a lot of things. Subtle is not one of them.
No! That is not
Venom.
Snake!
The main theme is war is bad. It's very much an anti-war game. However, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that sneaking into an enemy base and taking out all the enemies isn't fun, because it is. It's brilliant game design. I love senseless violence. Metal Gear Solid has always been renowned for its gameplay, always experimenting with new ideas, pushing what a video game is capable of, and what's interesting about The Phantom Pain is how it ties everything you do into the story, all the good and all the bad. Very similar to how Snake Eater punished a player for being a psychopath, or let you skip a cutscene if you just subdued everyone. A feature that's great in MGS5 is being able to put an enemy to sleep and transport them back to your base, turning them to your side and making them an ally. It shows that war is just a game to whoever is in charge, in this case, you. Moreover, it ties into the twist, which I'll get onto shortly. The point of adding these soldiers to your base is to make you stronger. You'll probably form some sort of attachment to them though, because they do provide genuine benefits, and they also seem to come around to Big Boss's cause, and genuinely want to fight and serve as diamond dogs. You grow to care for them, and this makes Mission 43 more devastating because now you have to kill them because they've been infected with a virus that could wipe out the entire base. Some are willing to die for the cause, some are just scared and want to go home, begging to live. The whole segment is a display of brutality and the negative effect that war has on us. The whole reason this event happened is because a virus was created to aid in war, and in return an even deadlier weapon will be made to counter it. And the game is saying, you know, maybe we shouldn't create horrors beyond our comprehension to gain an upper hand on someone. Or at least, when does it end? The point of MGS5 is to tell you that war is all for nothing. It's a losing battle that you will personally not win. No matter how much you sacrifice, it will not be worth it. It's here to reinforce the themes of MGS4 and the rest of the franchise about how war truly is never ending, unless you walk away from it. I mentioned at the start how it's all about tensions rising, and that's true. The game is set after MGS3 but before 1, 2 and 4, not to mention all the spin-offs, as you play as Venom Snake, not Solid, Liquid or Solidus, who are all clones of Big Boss, and that's you, but not really. The game is asking when the boiling point is. When do we truly come to a point of no return? Is it when the giant robots get thrown into the battlefield, or is there no end until total annihilation? And the answer more leans on the latter. As this is a pre-sequel, by the way the Borderlands movie fucking sucks, we know the world doesn't get destroyed by the end of 5. However, it's looking closer and closer to getting that way by 4. Phantom Pain is reinforcing the idea that war is a never-ending battle like the other games set up. War may have changed by 4, but in 5, it's just beginning. Throughout the entire game, we feel justified because it's the mission. We want to see Venom Snake and his pals succeed because we like them, and the game is a lot of fun. But as Snake and the crew go deeper and deeper into the darkness, craving revenge against the people who hurt them, their and the player's morals become corrupt, as we become just as bad as the people we're fighting. Miller had everything taken away from him to the point he's jaded when he finally kills the person who hurt him the most. Ocelot was born into war and idolizes Big Boss to an almost toxic level, willing to do anything for him, even if that means tricking himself into becoming something he's not. Big Boss is quite literally a legend. He's a placeholder name for whoever holds the most power. MGS5 is here to show that soldiers of war are tools to whomever is in power, and whilst we think we're the ones pulling the strings, that's when Phantom Pain drops the bombshell on us and reveals it was never us in charge, but like everyone else we've been using, we were also a tool to someone greater than ourselves. Venom Snake is not Big Boss, the protagonist of MGS3, but a soldier that saved his life and got plastic surgery and brainwashed into thinking he actually was him to spread the legend of his name, whilst the real Big Boss was off doing other things. I know this is extremely complicated, but believe me, this isn't even the craziest thing in the series. An extremely simplified version of Snake Eater is that Big Boss was a soldier who was used by his government on a covert mission to gain a slight advantage over America's enemies. Big Boss sacrifices people he cares about, in particular his mentor, the Boss, during the mission. He loses a lot whilst his government reap all the reward. He does not like this, especially because it was all planned by them without his knowledge, and decides he wants to do things his way, however in return basically becomes like the government he was fighting against in the first place. So this is where he begins to build his army and come up with the plan of Venom Snake, which is during the events of the Phantom Pain, the game we are currently playing right now, and is set before all the other games, but not that one. Are you still following? When I first found out this twist, I was not happy. I felt lied to and cheated because I thought I was playing as the cool guy. And that's Kojima's trick. I got used like Big Boss got used, and suddenly this twist is a lot more impactful with this narrative in mind. Like Big Boss, Venom Snake was used like a Pringles can in a sponge, and this is where Phantom Pain's main theme song comes into the mix, a cover of David Bowie's The Man Who Sold the World by Mid-Year. Not only are the reasons for it being a cover pretty clever in line with the twist, you know, because it's not the original thing, but it's like it, the main point of the song is to sell the idea that Big Boss truly is the man who sold the world for his cause. With the game's plot revolving around doppelgangers and manipulation of identity, with Venom Snake believing he actually is Big Boss, the deception aligns with the idea of selling one's identity or true self, like in the song. Big Boss's actions, on top of creating Venom Snake, also lead to widespread conflict and suffering. These actions can be seen as selling out his ideals in humanity for power and control, thus metaphorically selling the world. Big Boss and Venom Snake both experience profound alienation from their pasts and identities. This estrangement mirrors the existential themes in the song, where the protagonist feels disconnected from who they once were. The title The Man Who Sold the World perfectly encapsulates Big Boss's complex character arc, highlighting his moral ambiguity and far-reaching impact of his decisions. At least that's what ChatGPT had to say when I asked why the song was used. Metal Gear Solid 2 predicted all this, by the way. Nothing is original, and you only believe what you see. The song Invisible by Duran Duran was never in the Phantom Pain, you were just gaslit into thinking it was. Here's a dancing monkey. So, why is the game so important today, almost 9 years later? Well, because it dares to ask why we fight, why we hate, and even why we love, and how that love can get twisted into something rotten. It's asking if there is a point to fight, and in some cases, yeah, fighting is a necessity. Fighting to protect yourself, fighting for those you care about, fighting for something you believe in, fighting for oneself. But when does it become too much? That's what the Phantom Pain is asking. You might look around at the world and be thinking, it can't get any worse, right? And if MGS5 has told me anything, yes it can, and it definitely will. The events of Black Ops 2 are right around the corner, and I bet by 2027 we have Metal Gears. The game's answer to why we fight is pretty simple, but it's diving into it which is the interesting part. There'll always be someone who has a different viewpoint than you do, how they think the world should be run, and there will truly be no peace unless everyone learns to live in harmony. But that's never going to happen, is it? Because a lot of people are stupid, and with AI being introduced to the mainstream, don't be surprised if your Uncle Tony starts believing everything he sees on Facebook. We most likely are going to destroy each other by the end of it all, and there's nothing we can really do about it, and the Phantom Pain is attempting to dissect who we are as a species, and why we're like this. And I think it does a pretty damn good job at showing how messed up we really are. But in the words of Nietzsche, found in Metal Gear Solid 5, facts do not exist, only interpretations. Which is fitting for this game because that quote is actually said wrong unless it's a translation issue, but I know this guy, he's a clever fucker. The Phantom Pain is also asking why we do things. Who do we do them for? Ourselves or someone else? It's asking us to make a choice, and tying back to MGS4 in that sense too, where by the end Solid Snake gets to walk away from it all because he wants to, not because he's told to. Whilst the larger story and the dangers of war is the thing you'll probably hear the most about when it comes to the game, and the most relevant thing about it today, I think there's something to learn from the very personal story at the center of it all.